have helped a lot, relationships have helped a lot of people to grow, become stronger at what they do, become better at what they do, and also giving them platforms upon which they could stand and, experience a lot of greatness, success, because they had someone who was able to stand in for them. So today, I want to push that a bit further, because for me, relationship is everything. In business, in career, whatever it is you're doing in life, you need relationship. As a matter of fact, we were built as relational beings, and for us to become effective in life, that interdependence is extremely, extremely important. So, what I want us to do tonight is to go a bit deeper in understanding the relationship secrets that help people to become great in life. There are people that are waiting for you. There are people that are just, waiting to get that opportunity to put you in. But that would depend on how much of a relationship you're able to build with them over time. So today, I want to talk on a particular subject matter, which is very, very important in relationships, and that is the word loyalty. So on Business Unusual today, I will be talking about loyalty. Many of us do not even understand what loyalty is about. And like I usually say, the price of loyalty is too high, is too much, very few pay. I say that again. The price of loyalty is so high, is so much that only few can afford it. So today, what is loyalty? All right. Before I enter into the definition of loyalty and to bring from the different aspects, there is a need for us to look at the different aspects of loyalty and to see what it can benefit us. One of the things I like to discuss with us is a story. I like starting with stories. There's a story of this woman. We always know about her. Her name is Ruth. It's in the Bible. Now, what happened with her was that she was married to a woman's son, but the woman had lost her son. There are actually two of them. She had a mate also called Orpah. Now, what happened was that over time, the woman lost her husband, lost her two sons, and she became a widow. And these her, what do you call them now, daughters-in-law, were left with her as widows also. Now, the time came for her to return back to her country. And because she was in their own country, she needed to return back. But something happened. They didn't want to leave her. They wanted to show loyalty. They wanted to be there with her. But in the process, she was able to convince one of them to go back. But there was one that stood with her. Now, whenever I look at that story, her name is Ruth. What she did always, is enthusiastic. I'm enthused about it. It's something that I like to know more about. I'm intrigued about the fact that this particular lady could leave everything she had just to follow her mother-in-law. And the woman was very careful to explain to them what to expect in the process. Number one, she no longer has any husband, so she can't even give birth to any more sons that will become their husband. Secondly, she has nothing to offer them. No relative, nothing, basically. So if you're going to be following that kind of a woman, you must be following her for a different reason. Now, by the time she finished explaining to them why she would not be able to become to them what they will expect to become, or expect her to become to them, one of them turned and said, "It's goodbye from me." She kissed her goodbye and she left. But there was one that stuck with her. Her name is called Ruth. Now, what happened in the process of time actually made me realize that loyalty pays. And when loyalty is going to pay, it pays real big. Loyalty pays, and it pays real big. Before I continue, I'd like you to share. Get somebody on board. Please, this is the time to share. Thank you for joining. I can see yes. Thank you so very much for coming on board. Help me share with one or two persons. Let them know that we are on already. It is Uplift with Nelson, or Uplift with P-Nel, and we're considering Business Unusual. The topic for today is loyalty in relationship, loyalty in business. We're looking at loyalty, and we're looking at all the different ramifications of loyalty. All right? Beautiful. Now, the power of loyalty. The power of loyalty. I want to look at the power of loyalty. Now, the overall objective is to understand the multifaceted nature of loyalty. The multifaceted nature of loyalty, its significance in both business and career development, and how to cultivate and recognize it. All right. So I like you to take note of that. Now, back to my story. This lady called Ruth followed her mother-in-law, who was an old woman, retired to faith. To faith, had nothing more going for her. But she decided to become her hope. She decided to become her everything. Her mission for following her back to her own country was to be to her what she could no longer be to herself. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be that daughter. I know you don't have a son right now, you don't have a husband, but I can just be a daughter to you. I want to be there for you. I want to help you. I want to take care of you in your old age. All I am doing right now is a selfless thing. It is just about you. Such people are usually never forgotten. Do you know that even in our nation today, there is this thing going around that we say that the president of Nigeria, in case you're watching from any other part of the world, president of Nigeria constantly brings into the office people that he can trust. Why? Because over time he has tested them. Last week we talked about testing to trust or trusting to test. All right, people that you have worked with over time, you've been able to test them, you've been able to recognize them as people that are loyal to you. Who else would you want to put in specific positions that are dear to your heart, if not those that you have tested over time? So that is what this present government and our president has been doing. Okay, so for me today, what I want to do is to look at how loyalty is rewarded. But before then, what is loyalty? What does it entail? How do you bring it to play? How do you become a loyal person? What are the things you need to know about loyalty that will help you? Are you an employer of labor? Are you an employee? There's what we call the employer loyalty. There's what we call the employee loyalty. All right. There's what we call blind loyalty, and there is what we call mutual loyalty. There's also what we call personal loyalty. All right, which is what I would like to start with. But first of all, what is loyalty? Loyalty simply means to be there. All right. Loyalty simply means to be there for someone through the highs and the lows, and staying by their side regardless of the circumstances. So if you are there for someone when the person is high, when the person is low, not that whenever the person has, you are there. When the person doesn't have anymore, you desert the person. There are people like that. There are friends that we call fair weather friends. When things are okay, they are there with you. But when things go south, they disappear. All right. So that's not the kind of, we're talking about loyalty. Loyalty can only be rewarded when it is proven over time. Right. What that means is that there is never a time that passes and you are not constantly being there for the person. When the person is rejoicing, you are rejoicing with him. When the person is sad or in sorrow or is mourning, you are mourning with the person. Now, what that tells us is that you are someone who is a loyal friend. All right. That's in friendship. When it comes to employee-employer relationship, an employer that is what do you call it now, loyal to the employee will always ensure that he constantly looks out, all right, for the interest of the employee. So your employers are not just there for you to use, they are there for you to develop. Now, that's the difference between a loyal employee and a disloyal employee. A loyal employee seeks every opportunity to make the employee better. A loyal employee seeks for every opportunity to make the employer happy, to make the employer feel good, to make the business where his employer has employed him to work become better. So you constantly see that an employee that is loyal usually will always happen because there's an employer that is also loyal. So loyalty, we say, begets loyalty. Now, I have a problem with the kind of loyalty that is preached where people expect you to give. You're constantly the one giving, and the person you're giving to does not give back to you. That's blind loyalty. I'm going to come to that later. All right. So from the definition, it is being there, it is contributing, it is constantly staying through with someone or with your country, if we're talking about loyalty to the country or to your business or to your customers, right? Through thick and thin, through the highs and the lows. You are always there. Now, thank you very much. I see what you're saying. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. If you are not a loyal person naturally, it will be difficult for you to command loyalty. You can't command loyalty when you are not known as a loyal person, because loyalty begets loyalty. When you find a loyal person, they always gather around themselves those that are loyal to them, because first of all, they show themselves loyal. All right. So I want to look at different layers of this definition. Now, loyalty in customer relationship, for instance, consistent preference for a particular brand. Now, when a customer will say this customer, we say this customer is a loyal customer, it means there's this consistency in his preference for a brand or for your product or your services. He's always coming to you. All right. Now, I have a printer that I think I have shown loyalty to. He's my printer. Now, just last week, we were able to give him something, and no matter how little it was in some hundreds of thousands, and it was good. It was good money. All right. It was good. It was almost 500,000. Now, why? Because over time, I have seen that he's also loyal to me. There are times he has done things for me that I did not even pay for. He tells me, no, sir, you don't need to pay for this. And I'm like, wow, what kind of loyalty is this? All right. Now, and I've known him for years. There's no other person that does my printing job for me but this guy. And whenever there's anything printing, there's anything design, and it comes to my mind, there's no other person I'm thinking of. It is Mr. Inka. Why? Because I know that he is loyal to me, and I don't have any other reason but to be loyal to him. So when there's customer preference consistently over time, we say there's customer loyalty. What about business loyalty? For the employee, for instance, we're talking about commitment to the organization's what we call values, goals, objectives. All right. So when you see an employee, or rather, an employee that is committed to the organization's goal, is not willing to sabotage the organization. He will not push the organization under the bus because of his own selfish interest. That's a loyal person. Now, these are relationship secrets. These are relationship traits that help us become very successful in business. Don't forget, my intention and my idea is to ensure that you are constantly successful at what you do. So the reason why it's business unusual is because, like I said last week, usually when we're talking of business, we're talking of course, all the necessary factors of production or factors of what do you call it now, of business development and all of that. But we want to look outside that to look at the other aspects that are usually not the academic theoretical aspects, but are very important, and if not more important, when it has to do with development in business, in career, and all of that. Now, who will stand in for you tomorrow if not someone who has seen you loyal over the years? People will only recommend you to the extent to which they have seen you as a loyal person, either as an employee or as a friend, or as someone that they've worked with over time. They can vouch for your character. A loyal person is someone that you can easily vouch for. It's someone that you can easily say, yes, it's someone I can say, yes, I know this person. I can vouch for this person. I can accept that this person is good. At that point, then we can say, yes, you have a loyal person. What about career loyalty? Now, many people do not even look at this area. Career loyalty. What's career loyalty? It's dedication to development and growth, to your personal development and growth. When you are loyal to your career, you're loyal to career growth. All right. You have dedication. You have processes. You engage in processes that are, dedicated to growth, to development, to skill development, to ethical conduct. All right, in your chosen field. Now, those kind of people are people that we refer to as loyal professionals. Loyal professionals. A loyal professional is that person that is loyal not just to himself, but to growth in his area of professionalism, whether it's career, in business, whatever it is they're doing, they are always loyal to it. They always go for courses that make them better. They always go for seminars. They are constantly reading. They are looking for new trends in their career path. They are looking for how to incorporate skills that they do not have into what they have so that they can become better. That's how loyalty works. Now, I want to divert a bit to talk about loyalty, especially in friendship and other relationships, especially in romantic relationships. I've seen people who got married because of loyalty. Oh, yes, I've seen that happen several times. Now, a loyal person is very, very easy to recommend. Let me use that word. Because when there's no recommendation, there'll be no referral. And there's no referral or there's no recommendation because you have not built reputation. Loyalty is one of those reputations that you need to build. You need to be so loyal that people will look at you and say, yes, I can vouch for this person. They say, oh, I've seen it several times. And guess what? They got married to beautiful people and they found themselves, because one of the things that always happen is that a loyal person will always attract loyal people. All right. So what happened was, okay, oh, there's a talk. Oh, this lady is so good. I'm looking for a beautiful, a good man who can marry her and all of that. And before you know it, the friend just says, no, I have a friend that I think, will match. And before you know what's happening, it's, yeah, you call it matchmaking, but the ability of a friend to recommend her friend or his friend is because they found loyalty in such people. So loyalty is one of those. What loyalty is one of those things, one of those virtues that when you have can lead to recommendation. Recommendation leads to referral. All right, and don't forget your reputation is very important. So we talk reputation, recommendation, referrals. Now I'll go to the next thing. Please send in your questions. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer. Please send in your questions. The next thing is blind loyalty. Blind loyalty. What's blind loyalty? Blind loyalty is a one-sided loyalty where someone keeps giving, expecting loyalty in return. You keep giving loyalty to someone. You are expecting loyalty in return, but you never get it. That's blind loyalty. And then you are staying there. Do you know what happens with that? Number one, it stagnates your growth. It stagnates your growth. It leads to stagnation. All right? It leads to stagnation. It leads to what we call devaluation. Or, it makes people to undervalue you. When you show blind loyalty, something happens. What happens is that you are constantly the one who shows loyalty, and the system to which you are loyal or the person to which you are loyal does not reciprocate. Don't forget, we said loyalty is reciprocal, right? Meaning you reciprocate what you get. Loyalty leads to loyalty. So if I'm giving loyalty, constantly loyal in a relationship, I'm the one that's constantly loyal. I'm not getting loyalty in return. You easily betray me. You easily throw me under the bus. When push comes to shove and you need to save your head, you just forget about whatever happens to me. That's blind loyalty. And if I continue in it, it becomes blind loyalty. All right. Now, another thing that blind loyalty does is that it makes you to lose better opportunities or to miss out on better opportunities. The time you would have used to work for someone else who would value your loyalty, you are spending it with somebody else who does not value your loyalty. What happens over time is that you will not have the opportunity to get from other sources the opportunities that are available for you. All right. Now, that's blind loyalty. So I define it again. Blind loyalty is what? That loyalty, that kind of loyalty that is one-sided, where one person keeps giving loyalty without getting it in return. And yet, he doesn't even see it or he doesn't even know it. She doesn't even see it or she doesn't even know it. So she's constantly there at the giving end, but never receiving loyalty in return. You can imagine a friend who is always there for the friend. Before you ask questions, oh, they've covered for them. And I see that a lot in different organizations. Sometimes these are the things that lead to toxic environments in workplaces. All right. Now you get to a workplace and there's someone who, maybe is your colleague, you put in the same office. There's always a system. Somebody comes to check and says, oh, what's happening? Or maybe the person is under the weather or something. And instead of reporting that the person is under the weather, you now go to speak bad about the person simply because you want to sabotage the person. And when it's the person's turn, the person stands in for you, defends you before the management. But when it's time for you to do the same, instead of doing the same, you do the contrary. Something is wrong. Right? And if the person continues like that, that's blind loyalty. If the person continues to be loyal to you, that's blind loyalty. And like I said, sometimes it's because they do not even know that you're sabotaging them. All right? So that's blind loyalty. All right? There's what I call mutual loyalty, which is the best form of loyalty. Mutual loyalty is that loyalty that is two-way. Now, I usually call it a two-way street. A two-way street because every part is given. I am loyal to you, you are loyal to me. It's easy for us to work together, especially in friendships. If you're in organizations, I need you to look at this very, very critically. One of the ways to be loyal to organizations is when the organization is also loyal to you, meaning that when it comes to compensation, they're not looking for how to sabotage you. When it comes to what do you call it now, promotion, they are not trying to sabotage you. When it comes to other privileges that you should have, they're not trying to sabotage you. As you are contributing and giving all yourself, sometimes you even work on weekends, you work overtime, you do overtime, and then you expect that the same thing will be handed over to you. For instance, the day you are sick, all hell breaks loose. There's no loyalty there. All right. I usually say to employers of labor that give as much as you receive. For instance, if you constantly have staff, and I think I should give a bit of emphasis here. I've seen organizations that are supposed to be very loyal organizations, and they are not given to loyalty. As a matter of fact, they use their staff. Their staff have become tools that are used. Their staff have become to them, what do you call it now? People that they push under the bus at every given opportunity. All right. So the staff can do overtime for you. The staff can work on weekends for you. The staff can go on errands that are not even in their job schedule for you. The staff can do things that are not naturally what they should do or part of their job description. But when they are having a little issue or there's something that maybe they are sick or something and they've spent more than a day, you give a day leave or a 2 days sick leave. And because they are sick and they can't come, the next thing you begin to threaten them with sack, threaten them to fire them. You are making them feel as if they've not been, part of your, what do you call it now? Your growth and your development. That is actually a very bad place to be. All right? It's a bad place to be, especially as an employer. If I'm talking to you, an employer, you need to do a bit of an evaluation. Are your staff satisfied? You know what we call worker satisfaction or we call job satisfaction? Most times, it's not just the systems you put in place. It is actually the attitude that you give to those that are working with you. As a subordinate, or rather as a superior that has subordinates under you, how do you treat them? You overlabor them, you overwork them, but when they have a little time or they have a little downtime for themselves or times that they need to, recuperate, put themselves together, how do you deal with them? How do you see them? Are you there for them when they are not feeling good? Do you go to visit them in their down moments? That's loyalty. That's what we're talking about. Do you seek for opportunities to, show them that you care? When your company has done so well because of their input, of course, do you share the bonuses with them? Do you give to them? Because we're living in a society where we have more of private enterprises than what government does. So most of these private enterprises are driven by people. These are one business or sole proprietorship, one man business or sole proprietorship. What do you do with your staff? How do you treat them? Do they live there happy? Are they coming to work every day excited? Or are they feeling bad that they are coming? These are areas you need to look at. And that will determine how much loyalty you will get from them. Because you don't show loyalty, you can't get loyalty in return. All right? Now, there's what I call self-loyalty or personal loyalty. That's what we call loyalty to oneself. It's a bit closer to what I earlier defined as career loyalty, but this one is loyalty to yourself. Now, I've come to realize that people that are not loyal to themselves find it difficult to be loyal to others or be loyal to a system. Now, even to a country, if you're not loyal to yourself, it will be very difficult for you to be loyal to others. Because loyalty is a culture that you can imbibe. It is a virtue that can become a part of you that you can imbibe. And if you imbibe it, it becomes a culture. If it becomes a culture, it becomes your lifestyle. All right. So we're talking about, first of all, it's becoming what? A virtue that you love, that you admire, you go after. Then it moves from there. It goes beyond becoming a virtue becomes a culture, meaning it's something that you are already in the habit of doing, and then it becomes a lifestyle. By the time it becomes a lifestyle, it becomes easier for you to be able to, be loyal. You understand now? You just, because it's your lifestyle. All right. So that's why I said that people that are loyal to themselves, find it easy to be loyal to others, to be loyal to a system, to government, and all of that. All right. What is personal loyalty, or does loyalty to oneself? It is simply prioritizing your values, prioritizing your personal development, prioritizing the things that concern you. People that do not value themselves and are loyal to themselves will find it difficult to be loyal to others. All right. Now, ensuring that your work aligns with your personal principles and career aspirations. That's personal loyalty. Right? Ensuring that your work aligns with your personal principles and career aspirations. It also means investing in your skills and well-being. Your mental well-being, for instance, very important. How many of us actually take time to? I've heard people, and that's one thing I've come to realize lately in my workspace. I've seen some of my colleagues say, no, my mental health is very important. Please, my mental health is very important. I'm not going to deal. And I'm like, wow, that's self-awareness, that loyalty to oneself, to know that, see, my well-being is very important. It's personal loyalty. And people that are like that will also find it easy to be loyal to others, because empathy comes when you can feel what others feel. Now, it also means continuously improving and taking care of yourself. Continuously improving and taking care of yourself. That's personal loyalty. Right? Now, another area of personal loyalty that I've seen that I like to talk about, I'm sure that some of you may not have known it or may not have seen it this way, is what? Knowing when to move on. Knowing when to move on. Those that are loyal to themselves know when to move on. Whether it's in a relationship that has become toxic, they know when to move on. Oh, one of my sisters, let me use that word now. Sisters came to meet me today. Just this morning, we had a short time to pray together, fellowship together. And she met me and she said, sir, I'm about leaving my job. I'm like, wow, let's talk about this. So I took her to a corner and she started explaining to me why she needed to leave. I'm like, okay, tell me what's happening. And she started telling me about the toxicity in the workspace. Now, how bad it has become that, for things she even knows nothing about, she's been giving queries and she tries to answer them to the best of her knowledge. She's now realizing that there's a direct sabotage that is involved in it. People trying to rope her into things that she has no idea about. And when she told me she wanted to leave, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. Why? Because I'm seeing personal loyalty here. What that tells me is that she's loyal to herself. She's loyal to her well-being. She's loyal. She knows when to move. Recognizing when the situation is no longer comfortable and does not serve your growth. When the situation does not serve your growth, you move. That's not disloyalty. Please, I beg us. We need to understand how some of these things work. All right? We need to understand how some of these things work. And how does some of these things work? Now, this is how it works. People will tell you that you are disloyal to a system because you left the system for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons in the sense that there is sabotage, there is toxicity, all right? And for your mental well-being, for your personal well-being, you've looked at it, you've weighed the options and you say, no, my being here would diminish me, will make me not even give my best to the organization, and I decide to leave. That's not disloyalty. That's self-respect. And that is what we call personal loyalty, all right? Now, I want to look at some of the importance, all right, of loyalty. If I enter into this, we will not be able to finish today. But what I'm going to do is we're going to be having a part 2 on loyalty, because loyalty is a wide, what I call it now, wide area, wide discipline or wide subject matter that if we begin to talk about it now, we may not be able to finish it. All right. But there are a few things I like to mention about loyalty, particularly the benefits of loyalty. Now, what I'll do next week is to now begin to look at some of the nitty gritty, especially when it has to do with the business angle of it. We'll look at the career angle of it, all right? And then we'll look at the personal development and aspect of it, or the professional development aspect of loyalty. So don't forget, next week, we'll be delving more into looking at the nitty gritty, the benefits, the what do you call them now? Significance of loyalty in these areas, in business, in relationship, in career